Chapter 14: The Attack. Secret Agent James Doyle. I liked the sound of that. I was standing in a dark room. And then a series of lights powered on. One by one they came on, and I realized I was in what looked like as a warehouse, filled with row after row of guns on shelves. Right out of a movie set. All kinds of rifles and pistols, machine guns and sniper rifles. I took a suppressed 9mm MP5 and a suppressed 9mm pistol and unloaded them. Took a few hours of practice shooting, then returned to my room for rest and food. I'm going to go out there and save the planet. I'm going to start with that big crystal. I'm going to see what happens if I crack it. Crystals on Earth break along lines of cleavage. It will be interesting to see what an armor-piercing high-velocity round will do to that crystal. And I took a nap. I laid down on my cot in my little area, and I went to sleep. I was awoken from my sleep by a loud klaxon. I entered the video room, and a bunch of military types were scratching their heads. They were looking at a video screen with dots on it, moving around in a field, in and out of the black area. Then I saw a bus moving in from the road leading into Shrillfest, and the Shrillers approaching the bus from all directions. The Shrillers had a different color. They appeared as red, and non-Shrillers appeared as yellow. The color scheme. This is how you guys found me, isn't it? Yes, the doc said on the screen. We ascertained you were not one of them when you crawled out of the black area and wandered around the town to a building. But we thought you were lost when one of the larger groups entered the building and then went dark. Only reds were left, no yellows. We did see a yellow disappear into a large red tentacle. Yes, the kid that was taken was screaming for her life, and the mother just held her hand as she was killed. I thought I was dreaming when I crawled out of the hiding space in the wall to see people turning into large crystals. I turned and walked out of the room. I see you're going in, the doc said. I suggest you take Corridor 11 to the surface. It should help your egress to Shrillfest. And an escape route if things turn out bad for you. The computer voice announced, Corridor 11 activated and primed, and a hallway lit up. I proceeded down the hallway to its conclusion. Doc, if you hear me, if this doesn't work, I suggest you have a strike ready to destroy the entire valley. We will be ready for your signal. At the end of the hall there was a door. I entered it, and it was another corridor, another hallway. But this one was different. It was lined with autoguns. They had cameras attached to them, and as I passed they turned from red to green. At the end of the corridor was a spiral staircase that led up. It creaked as I rose to the top. At the top was a concrete door with the button on it and a peephole. I looked through the peephole and I could see the drug room with all the coke in it. I was about to open the door when I saw a group of Shrillers enter the room. The room was dark. The purple light of the crystals lit up the room. And then there were glow sticks colors. A group of humans came in and took a few buckets of coke, and then they left, skipping away. On the wall of the escape tunnel was a suppressed 308mm long rifle. I slung it on my back and I activated the door. The coke pile lifted and I walked out. The door shut behind me. A green light lit up on the wall, and I walked over to touch it. And then it deactivated. Armed, in a computer voice whispered in my ear. The door's armed for you if you need to escape quickly. I made my way down the halls. I cracked my glow stick behind my crystal, and it glowed brightly. I was able to see. I climbed to the top of the stairs of the school and found a roof access door. I gently closed it behind me, but it didn't lock. It didn't work. I made my way to the edge of the roof, fearing my foot would fall through the roof, but it didn't. I was now over the main crystal in the field. There were Shrillers dancing around in a circle around the crystal as it began to flash. At that moment, huge tentacles emerged from the ground around it. Now's my chance. I will see what happens. I pointed my rifle at the crystal and fired. Since the weapon was suppressed, no one heard the shot. but the crystal shattered like glass, and the Shrillers all shook and violently vibrated. The tentacle also vibrated violently and exploded. The non-human Shrillers vibrated violently and exploded. The area deemed black by the batting cage rumbled very loudly, and the ground collapsed beneath it. And for a few minutes it was silent, except for people fleeing the Shrillfest, some running up the path, others scrambling out the entrance road. From behind me I heard Anthony's voice. "You accomplished nothing." I turned, and he was melting. "Did I?" I replied. "Looks like this colony is dead," I said. "Just one of many, James," he replied. "But I will see you again." "I think not," as I raised my MP5 and fired. The simulacrum of my friend popped like a blob of protoplasm into a puddle on the floor. I stood there looking at him as military helicopters flew over my head into the field and landed, and army people came out of the building in every direction. I just stood there and gazed over what I had wrought. Shrillfest was dead, and the aliens were gone too, but so was my friend. The end.